You feel that, don't you? That empty space in your chest. The one that used to be filled with their laughter, their words, their presence. Now it's just hollow. An echoing reminder of what once was. Funny, isn't it? How they never noticed your worth when you were right there. Giving, sacrificing, breaking yourself to fit into their world. And now that you've pulled away, now that you've finally had enough, they're scrambling, clawing, desperate to get back in. Typical. They took you for granted. Every bit of effort, every piece of your soul you handed over, they treated it like air. Always there, always available, always expected. You could have been bleeding in front of them, and they would have still asked for more. They only saw what they could take, never what they had. And when someone is always there, when someone keeps showing up, no matter how badly they're treated, people stop valuing them. That's the game. That's human nature. They assume you'll never leave. They assume you'll always be waiting. But you walked away. You chose yourself. And now, look at them. Lost, confused, drowning in their own regrets. The silence you left behind is suffocating them, isn't it? The absence of you burns more than your presence ever did. And here's the brutal truth. They don't miss you. Not really. They miss what you did for them. They miss the comfort you provided. They miss the stability you gave them. Because the world is cruel. And without you, they are forced to face it alone. They come back, not because they suddenly realized your worth, but because they can't handle the void. They thought you'd always be there. They thought you were weak. They mistook your kindness for weakness. They mistook your loyalty for stupidity. But now they see the truth, and it terrifies them. Let me tell you something. People never regret hurting you in the moment. They regret it when the consequences come knocking, when they wake up one day and realize no one is picking up their calls like you did, when they're drowning in their own misery and the lifeline they once had. You is nowhere to be found. That's when they regret it. That's when it hits them. But here's what you need to understand. Regret is not love. Missing you is not love. It's desperation. It's the panic of realizing they lost something irreplaceable. You see, people don't cherish what they can always have. They only value what they fear losing. And you, my dear, were never the problem. They were. They never deserved you to begin with. And yet, here they are, crawling back, saying all the right words, making all the right promises. But tell me this. Where was all this effort when you were breaking inside? Where was this urgency when you needed them? Where was this regret when you were screaming inside, waiting for them to see you? Oh, but now they see you. Now they see you everywhere, in every empty space, in every moment of loneliness, in every laugh that doesn't sound quite as real as it did when you were around. They will search for you in every person they meet, but they will never find you. Because what you gave them, no one else can. And I know, deep down, there's a part of you that wants to believe them, that wants to take them back, that wants to hear them say, I was wrong. I see your worth now. But tell me this, why did it take losing you for them to see it? Love isn't about realizing someone's value when they're gone. Love is about never taking them for granted in the first place. Do you really think they've changed? Or do they just hate the consequences of their actions? Do they miss you? Or do they miss the way you made them feel? Look at their eyes. Do you see guilt? Or do you see fear? Fear that they lost their comfort. Fear that you won't play the game anymore. Fear that they now have to face the world without your strength. And now you stand at a crossroad. You can let them back in. You can go back to being the one who bends, the one who forgives, the one who allows them to take without ever giving. Or you can walk away for good. You can choose yourself this time. You can let them feel the full weight of their choices. Because trust me on this, nothing teaches people faster than loss. They won't learn their lesson if you keep cushioning the fall. They won't change if you keep giving them second chances. They won't respect you if they know you'll always take them back. Let them drown in the silence they created. Let them sit in the emptiness they brought upon themselves. Let them suffer the consequences of their own arrogance. You see, people like them. They never think about losing you until it's too late. They always assume you'll stay, no matter how badly they treat you. They believe you'll always be an option. So let them see what life is like without you. Let them feel the weight of every ignored message, every dismissed emotion, every moment they made you feel small. They took you for granted. Now they're desperate to return. But here's the final question. Do they deserve to? Because I think you already know the answer. Oh, but I know that doubt creeping in your mind, that little whisper telling you to reconsider, that tiny nagging voice saying maybe they've changed, maybe this time will be different. Maybe they finally see me. But let's be brutally honest here. If someone truly values you, truly respects you, they never put you in a position where you have to wonder. They never put you through the agony of questioning your own worth. They never make you beg for the bare minimum. And yet, here you are after everything, still entertaining the idea that they deserve another chance, that they deserve you. But let me ask you, how many times have you been here before? How many times did they leave, come back with the same rehearsed words, and then repeat the cycle all over again? Because that's what this is. A cycle, a pattern, a game where they always win and you always lose. They know exactly how to play you. They know exactly what words to use, what emotions to trigger, what memories to resurrect. They know how to reel you back in just enough to keep you on the hook, but never enough to truly value you. And the worst part? They don't even need to lie to you. They just let you lie to yourself. They let you fill in the blanks, let you believe in their changed behavior, let you convince yourself that this time is different. But deep down, you know the truth, don't you? You feel it, buried beneath the hope, beneath the longing. You know that the second you let them back in, the second you open that door, they'll slip right back into their old ways. Because that's who they are. Because they never changed. Because people don't change unless they have to. And you never made them face the full cost of losing you. You've always been there. Always willing to forgive. Always ready to believe in them one more time. And that's the problem. People only learn when they have no other choice. When the loss is permanent. When they have to wake up every day knowing that what they had is gone, not temporarily, not as a punishment, but forever. Only then do they understand. Only then do they truly regret. Only then do they feel the weight of what they destroyed. And even then, regret does not erase actions. Regret does not undo the past. Regret does not rebuild trust. It only reminds them of their own failures, their own selfishness, their own inability to hold on to something real. And you are not their lesson to learn. You are not their redemption story. You are not the prize at the end of their guilt trip. You are the one who suffered. You are the one who gave. You are the one who broke yourself trying to be enough for people who never deserved you in the first place. So tell me, what exactly do they deserve now? Another chance? Another opportunity to hurt you? Another invitation back into your life so they can repeat the cycle? No. What they deserve is silence. What they deserve is absence. What they deserve is to feel the full force of their actions without the comfort of knowing you'll still be there when they're done playing their games. They took you for granted. They assumed you would always be available. They thought your love, your care, your loyalty was infinite. They believed they could push you aside whenever it was convenient and pick you back up whenever they felt like it. And now they are drowning in the consequences of their arrogance. Now they are suffocating in the emptiness they created. Now they are desperate, scrambling, reaching for something that no longer belongs to them. But here's where you finally take control. Here's where you stop being their safety net. Here's where you let them sink. Because the truth is, they were never afraid of losing you. They were afraid of losing what you did for them. They were afraid of facing life without your strength, without your patience, without your unwavering support. They were never afraid of breaking you. They were only afraid of you realizing your own worth. And now that you have, they are terrified because they know they can't manipulate you anymore. They know they can't dangle empty words in front of you like bait. They know that this time, you're serious. And that scares them more than anything, because you were their lifeline. You were their stability. You were the one they ran to when everything else failed. And now they have to face the reality of who they are without you. Now, they have to sit in the mess they created. Now they have to learn, truly learn, what it means to lose something that can never be replaced. And that, my dear, is not your problem. That is not your burden to carry. That is theirs. So let them come crawling. Let them cry. Let them beg. Let them feel every ounce of the pain they so easily inflicted upon you. And then you walk away. Then you remind yourself of every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, every time you wondered if you were enough. Then you remember who you were before they made you question your worth. Then you remind yourself that you were never the one who lost anything. They were. Because the moment they took you for granted, they lost the one thing they will spend the rest of their lives searching for. And you finally found yourself. And that is worth more than anything they could ever offer. And now, in the silence you left behind, they rot. They sit in the darkness of their own making, tormented by memories of you, your voice, your presence, your unwavering loyalty. They replay every moment, every conversation, every time they dismissed you with indifference, and it eats them alive. They stare at their phone, debating whether to type another apology, another desperate plea, another lie disguised as sincerity. But deep down, they know. They know the damage has been done. They know the bridge has been burned. They know that no matter how many words they spill, they can never undo the truth. And the truth is this: you were the best thing that ever happened to them, and they threw it away like it was nothing. They mistook your patience for weakness. They mistook your silence for submission. They mistook your love for something disposable. But love, real love, is not disposable, and neither are you. And you see it now, don't you? The cycle, the manipulation, the way they dangle just enough hope in front of you to keep you on the hook, but never enough to truly change. They never feared losing you, because you never truly left. You walked away before, but you always looked back. You always left the door open just enough for them to slide back in, and they knew it. They counted on it. But this time is different. This time, you are no longer waiting on the other side. This time, you are not checking your phone, not hoping for an apology, not sitting in a pool of your own regrets, wondering if you made the right choice. This time, the only regret belongs to them. And that is a weight they will carry for the rest of their lives. But don't mistake their regret for love. Don't mistake their apologies for change. People don't suddenly grow a conscience when they lose you. They only realize the value of what they had when they are forced to live without it. That's not love. That's loss. That's the sharp sting of knowing they ruined something irreplaceable. That's the crushing weight of realizing that they had something real, something rare, something others search for their entire lives. And they destroyed it with their own hands. And that's the thing about regret. It doesn't heal. It doesn't erase. It doesn't fix what's been broken. It just lingers, a constant reminder of the mistakes they can never undo. And while they drown in their own guilt, you rise. While they sit in the wreckage of their own destruction, you rebuild. While they look for you in every empty space, in every fleeting moment of nostalgia, in every face they meet, you move forward. Because you finally understand you were never the one who lost anything. They were. They were the ones who took you for granted. They were the ones who assumed you'd always be there. They were the ones who gambled with your heart and lost. And now they have to live with the consequences of their arrogance. Now they have to sit in the absence they created. Now they have to face the brutal truth that you were never weak, never desperate, never disposable. You were the light they chose to dim. You were the warmth they chose to neglect. You were the home they chose to abandon. And now they are homeless. Let them sit in that. Let them feel the weight of their own choices. Let them choke on the silence they once forced upon you. Let them drown in the regret they created. Because this time, you are not coming back. This time, you are not giving them another chance to break you. This time, you are choosing yourself. And that is the most powerful thing you will ever do. Because love is not about how much pain you can endure for someone. Love is not about how many times you can forgive someone who repeatedly destroys you. Love is about respect. Love is about effort. Love is about never having to beg for the bare minimum. And if they could not see your worth when you were standing right in front of them, they do not deserve to search for it now that you are gone. So let them miss you. Let them ache. Let them regret. Let them sit in the reality they never thought they would face, because they assumed they had time. They assumed you would always be there. They assumed that no matter how many times they hurt you, no matter how many times they ignored your worth, you would still be waiting. But the truth is that you were never waiting. You were only hoping. And hope dies the moment you realize that some people will never change, no matter how much you love them. Hope dies when you understand that no matter how much you gave, no matter how much you tried, some people will always take you for granted until you walk away for good. And now, the only thing left for them to hold on to is the memory of you, the ghost of your kindness, the shadow of your presence, the sound of your name echoing in the void they created, And that is their punishment. Not your anger, not your revenge, not your words. No, their punishment is the absence of you. Their punishment is waking up every day knowing that they had something rare, something beautiful, something real, and they let it slip through their fingers. And you are finally free. Free from the cycle. Free from the pain. Free from the endless waiting, the endless hoping, the endless suffering. So walk away, not with bitterness, not with hatred, but with the quiet, unshakable knowledge that you were never the fool. They were. They were the ones who played a game they could never win. They were the ones who took a priceless gift and treated it like nothing. They were the ones who thought they could always come back. But this time, the door is closed. This time, the chapter is over. This time, you are no longer theirs to take for granted. And that is the sweetest justice of all. And as you walk further away, step by step, there's something else you need to understand. This isn't just about them. It's about you, about the way you used to lower yourself, just to be enough for people who never even deserved a glimpse of your soul, about the way you used to shrink your heart, soften your words, dim your light, just so they could feel comfortable standing next to you. You were bending so much, breaking so often, that you forgot what it felt like to stand tall. You forgot what it meant to put yourself first. You were so used to choosing others over yourself that when someone finally asked you what you needed, you didn't even know how to answer. That's what happens when you love too hard in a world that only knows how to take. That's what happens when you give people a home inside of you and they bring fire with them. And even now, even after all they did, part of you still blames yourself, doesn't it? That small, broken part still whispers, maybe you weren't enough. Maybe you were too much. Maybe you were the problem. But listen to me, and listen hard. You were not the problem. You were the blessing they couldn't hold. You were the rare kind of soul that pours love into the cracks of others without asking for anything in return. And they saw that. Oh, they saw it. And they used it. Because people like them, they don't love, they feed. They feed off the warmth of people like you. They take and take and take until there's nothing left. And then they walk away as if you were the one who failed. But not anymore. Now, you're awake. Now, you see through the lies, through the fake apologies, through the cycles, through the toxic nostalgia they try to weaponize just to pull you back in. Because that's their last trick, isn't it? When everything else fails, they reach for the past. They remind you of old laughs, old smiles, old memories. They try to paint over the pain with moments of happiness. But memories don't erase the scars. They don't undo the nights you cried yourself to sleep. They don't change the way they made you feel invisible, unworthy, replaceable. They don't heal the wounds. They only hide them. And you've bled enough for people who couldn't even hand you a bandage. And now they sit in the silence. Now they watch as you grow without them. As you build a world they'll never have access to. As you glow in ways they never thought you could. And that kills them more than anything. Not because they love you, but because they lost control. You were their mirror. You reflected back the best version of themselves. And without you, they are forced to see the truth of who they really are. Broken, selfish, incapable of love that doesn't revolve around themselves. And you were too pure for that kind of poison, too loyal for that kind of betrayal, too real for people who wear masks just to survive the day. They will tell themselves it was just bad timing, that they didn't know better, that if they had one more chance, things would be different. But all of that is noise. Excuses dressed up as regrets. Truth is, they knew. Oh, they knew. They knew how much you cared. They knew you were hurting. They knew they were breaking you piece by piece, but they did it anyway. Why? Because they were sure you'd stay. They were sure you'd never walk away. And now, they're left with the one thing they never expected. Your silence. That silence, that's louder than any goodbye, louder than any argument, louder than any breakdown. Because silence means you're done explaining, done begging, done trying to prove your worth to people who never saw it. And silence, my friend, is power. It's peace. It's healing. It's standing in front of the ruins, not crying anymore, but building something stronger. And in that silence, you begin to hear something else, your own voice, the voice that was drowned for so long under the noise of pleasing others. The voice that was silenced every time you made yourself small for someone else's comfort. And now that your voice is back, you'll never let it be silenced again. Now that you've remembered your worth, you'll never trade it for temporary comfort. You'll never let someone walk in and out of your life like it's a hotel room. You'll never settle for halfway love, because you've seen the dark. You've felt the pain. You've been at rock bottom, loving people who wouldn't even bother to check if you were okay. And that changed you. That rebuilt you. That turned your wounds into warnings. That turned your heartbreak into armor. So when they come back, and they will, they'll find someone unrecognizable. Not because you've become cold, but because you've become wise. You've become someone who understands that love without respect is manipulation. That effort without consistency is a lie. That apologies without change are just noise. They'll come back expecting the same version of you, the one who forgave too easily, who held on too long, who gave everything just to feel something. But that person is gone, buried under every tear, every silence, every moment of heartbreak they caused. And what stands in their place now is someone dangerous, someone who knows their worth, someone who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't settle, someone who's turned every piece of pain into power, someone who understands that losing people who never valued you is not a loss. It's a rescue, a freedom, a clean slate. So when they knock, let them knock. Let them cry. Let them scream. Let them burn in the fire they lit themselves. Because you're done being the firewood. You are the flame now. They'll call it growth when it's convenient for them. They'll say they've changed, that they've evolved, that losing you was a wake-up call. But deep down, you know better. You know when someone changes for survival and when someone changes because they finally found truth. And what they're doing now isn't healing. It's panic. It's fear, disguised as reflection. It's desperation, wearing the mask of remorse. Because real change, it's quiet. It's consistent. It's proven through actions, not performed through words. And what they're doing is not for you. It's for themselves. It's so they can sleep better at night. So they can say, I tried. So they can clear their conscience while still carrying the same poison in their soul. But you know this game. You've watched it play out before. You've seen them spin words like silk and use them to bind your heart again and again. They want access to you without earning it. They want your warmth without the fire. They want the love without the responsibility. Because for them, you were convenience dressed as devotion. They didn't appreciate your consistency, they exploited it. They didn't cherish your vulnerability, they consumed it. And now that you've rebuilt yourself from the rubble they left behind, now that you've closed the doors they used to walk through like royalty, now they're outside, shivering in a world that doesn't revolve around their comfort. And you're finally not answering. And that silence, it's not just strength, it's sacred. See, they thought love was a guarantee. They thought someone like you comes around often, but real ones don't. Real loyalty doesn't come twice. Real love doesn't knock on the same door over and over when it's been ignored, disrespected, and shattered. You were the once-in-a-lifetime blessing they weren't equipped to handle. You were the rare soul that only broken people recognize after they've done too much damage. And that's the truth. They now carry like chains around their neck, that they had someone pure, someone real, someone who gave without keeping score, and they lost it. Not because of bad timing, not because of misunderstandings, but because of their own carelessness, their ego, their pride, their inability to love without taking. And now, every time they laugh, it won't be full. Every time they're held, it won't feel right. Every time someone looks at them with admiration, they'll think of you and how you used to look at them like they were worth the world, even when they were destroying yours. That's what they lost. Not just your presence, but the version of themselves that only existed when they were with you. You made them better, and they threw that version away for temporary satisfaction. And now they're left with themselves, raw, unloved, and they'll try to replace you. Oh, they'll try. They'll go through bodies, voices, laughs. They'll chase the echo of you in 1,000 empty places. But nothing will hit the same. Nothing will feel real. Because once someone's tasted real, everything fake leaves them starving. And don't get it twisted. They'll never admit it. They'll never sit across from someone and say, I had someone who loved me like no one else, and I destroyed it. No, they'll spin the story. They'll make themselves the victim. They'll paint you as cold, distant, unforgiving. Because it's easier to lie than to live with the truth. It's easier to blame you than to accept that they are the villain in their own story. And people like them, they'll rewrite history just to avoid accountability. Let them twist it, let them run, because you know the truth, and more importantly, they know the truth, deep in their bones, when the world is quiet, when they're alone, when the masks are off and the noise is gone. That's when the truth screams the loudest. And that's when they'll realize they didn't just lose a person. They lost a sanctuary, a safe space, a love that didn't ask for perfection, a presence that didn't demand anything but honesty and consistency. And they couldn't even give that. They fumbled something most people search for their entire lives, and now they are condemned to a lifetime of almosts. Of what ifs, of staring at your old photos and wondering how they could have been so blind. That's their curse. That's the weight they carry. And you're no longer carrying anything for them. So when they come back, and they will, with shaking hands and empty words, trying to dress their guilt as growth, don't open the door. Don't give them the comfort of your kindness. Don't give them the reward of your healing. Because the one who breaks you doesn't deserve to watch you rebuild. The one who walked away from the fire doesn't get to sit by the warmth you created from your own ashes. Let them watch from a distance. Let them learn that some mistakes are permanent, that some bridges, when burned, don't get rebuilt. They become graveyards. Let them learn that losing you wasn't a chapter in their story. It was the end. Because you were never a pit stop. You were never someone to come back to. You were the final destination. And they left. And now they're just another ghost begging for a place in a life they no longer belong to. Let them haunt themselves. Let them choke on every memory. Let them feel every ounce of the love they lost. And you walk forward, tall, cold, unapologetic, because now you know being taken for granted once is their mistake. Letting it happen twice would be yours, and you're done being anyone's mistake.